Did you know that on average, startups wait until they have 40 to 50 employees before hiring their first HR professional? That means they're figuring out first-time hire questions all on their own. Maybe they're searching the web and landing on videos like this one. If only there were a better way. I'm Amber. I'm the founder of Amplified HR, and we are the better way. We offer an outsourced HR department to help with stuff like this, and our staff of experienced HR pros are available to clients 24/7. And now that I've told you there are options available to you, let me also give you some DIY solutions in case you're really committed to becoming the HR pro for your business. First and foremost, I recommend you start these steps well in advance to posting your first job ad. This way, you can feel as prepared as possible once you get that signed offer letter or contract back. Also, this is not a comprehensive list, nor am I going to spend time really digging into each topic. There is a lot to consider for each step, so we will cover each of them in separate videos from this one. So your first step is going to be to file for your EIN, also known as your FEIN, and to set up your tax accounts and insurance policies. The EIN is your employer identification number, and the FEIN is the federal employer identification number. It basically serves as your business's social security number for tax purposes. If you've already filed business taxes or have a business bank account, you likely already possess this number. If not, it's pretty easy to get one. Just head over to the IRS website. Here's the URL, and this is what the screen looks like. And along that line is also setting up your state payroll unemployment insurance tax account, SUI. This is also a fairly straightforward process, but each state is a little different. You'll also want to secure your workers' compensation policy, which is required in most states, and any other insurance policy that may be important now that you're going to have employees. Check with your insurance broker or agent for their recommendations. Next, step 2 is that you'll need to determine whether you're hiring an employee or a contractor. These classifications are also referred to as W-2 employee or 1099 independent contractor. W-2 because they're added to your payroll and will receive a W-2 at the end of the year to file their taxes, and 1099 because they're not added to your payroll and will instead receive a 1099 form at the end of the year to file their taxes. This is actually a very big decision and shouldn't be taken lightly. While it's tempting for small business owners to not want to deal with the headaches and expense of setting up payroll for staff members, the reality is that less than 10% of the US population actually qualify under labor and tax laws for that classification. And if you get it wrong and misclassify someone as an independent contractor when they should have been employees, you could face significant legal charges and back wage payment liabilities. So in a nutshell, if you want to have control over how specifically the new hire will complete work for you, what their schedule will be, if you want to offer any benefits like paid time off or health insurance, if you want to have rules for how they will conduct themselves, you are likely looking at an employment situation. If you don't care when the work is done as long as it's done correctly and on time, if you will not be offering any benefits at all, if the new hire can work for other businesses like yours at the same time and they control their own profit and loss statement, you may be able to hire an independent contractor. All right, step 3 will be determining your budget for this person's wage. And if you have compliantly decided this will be a contractor, it's pretty easy to budget for that. However, if this will be an employee, you also need to consider things like employer paid payroll taxes, any benefits you would like to offer, workers' compensation insurance premiums, any software and hardware costs, and any additional training expenses you will need to cover for this person. You'll also want to be sure to account for the full financial impact before committing to your new hire. Step 4, assuming this is an employee you are hiring, you will want to draft a job description for this role. And this is a critical step because if you don't have a really good idea of what you want this person to do, you will be scrambling for the first 3, 4, 6 weeks and will always feel behind. So a good job description will have a structure similar to this. And you'll basically want to identify some important job details, a summary of the role, key tasks and responsibilities, any required qualifications, education and experience, preferred qualifications, education and experience, and any other details that are important to consider for that role. Job descriptions vary wildly depending on the company culture and positions sought, but this gives you a good starting point. There are a ton of templates on the web you can search for and adapt for your use. Step 5, craft a dynamic job post and identify where you will be searching for your new hire. I am not a fan of simply posting the job description on job boards. I like to use this opportunity to make it kind of a marketing play. What sets your job apart from others? What can applicants get excited about? What's in it for them? I believe you should treat this like you would marketing to your customer avatar. Who is your target employee? Talk to them directly when you write these posts and then post to the sites that are most likely to be targeting those same employees. All right, step 6, you'll do an initial review of applications and resumes, ask deal breaker screener questions, and schedule interviews. We often use the philosophy, hire slow, fire fast. And the premise is that you should take your time and make careful hiring decisions so you can save yourself from termination headaches later. So you should create a strategy for this. I like to use scoring methods for interviews, and I talk about this in a video, which I will link in the description of this video. Using solid screening methods will save you from wasting time on interviews for candidates who are not a good fit, and then conducting effective interviews will help ensure you are getting someone who's not only qualified for your role, but fits your company culture. Step 7, send your candidate a well-constructed offer letter. Some critical language you should include is job title, start date, compensation, whether the role is exempt or non-exempt, any benefits you are offering, plus a disclaimer that you can change those benefits at any time, expectations you have for the role, at-will employment disclaimers, any form requirements you have like confidentiality agreements, and a disclaimer that the offer cannot be modified unless in writing and signed by you, and plus any other important details for your role. Step 8, develop your handbook in standard operating procedures. And this may seem like overkill for your first employee, but trust me when I say now is the time to do these things. If you wait, you will likely find yourself trying to scramble to create these when you don't have time and bad habits have already been formed. Well-structured employee handbook clarifies company policies, values, and expectations while also serving as a legal safeguard. And standard operating procedures, or SOPs, provide structured guidelines for tasks, ensuring consistency and efficiency. And even if something feels like common sense, you should document it because clear expectations prevent misunderstandings. And these SOPs will be so helpful as you scale your business. Step 9 is to have your new hire complete onboarding paperwork. And this will include forms like the federal W-4, which is the federal income tax withholding form, a state withholding form if that is applicable in your state, and a Form I-9. Those forms are required for all employees. And aside from that, you should also have your new hire signing important policies, agreements, and rules that apply to your business. And so examples of that might be a confidentiality agreement, a non-harassment policy, rules for employment, and a computer use policy as examples. Here is a standard checklist that we use in our paperwork packets, but these are customized for each client based on their business needs. These are important to have as standalone policies rather than just covering them in the handbook acknowledgement. Step 10 is to set up a system for payroll. I really like using a payroll vendor for this, and that's what I recommend to our clients because they will streamline a lot of your processes and most importantly, will file your new hire report to the state and your quarterly and annual federal and state tax returns and payments. So it's just one less thing for you to worry about or get wrong. So I think the expense is well worth it. They will also help you meet deadlines for W-2s. And many of them will also let you know when you're crossing important thresholds in size that will trigger new requirements like the annual EEO-1 report, as an example. There is so much to think about when it comes to becoming an employer, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. You should definitely subscribe to our channel because we will be recording videos for each of these steps, and we'll be covering all the important topics you need to know as an employer.